Alright, here's the first video of my quarter scale RC dune buggy. Here's the chassis. I had the whole car all done and was driving it and decided that I wanted to take it apart, clean it up and paint it. So while I have it apart and clean, I was going to make a few videos on how I built it. The project started originally because I had gotten an old weed whacker from a buddy of mine, and I decided to build a big RC car out of it. So here's that engine. It was a 26cc weed whacker, and I wanted to use the running gear out of a HPI Baja. So there's a clutch, and I'm using the brake plate and gearbox and everything, and building about everything else. But to use this engine, the weed whacker, the front of the weed whacker was over here, so come out over here where the shaft of the weed whacker would be, and the clutch is actually bolted on the back of the motor right now. And to do that, I had to make this adapter plate and make a crankshaft extension coming out the back. It has a same taper you can see there as a stock Baja engine would have, so the stock clutch can bolt right on there. But doing that makes the engine running it'd be running in the wrong rotation, so I had to reverse the rotation of the engine so that the car would go forward. That wasn't very hard to do. To start with, I made a simple little timing wheel, a piece of paper, plotted it out on the computer. I taped that right onto the flywheel there. I put a pointer down on there, found top dead center with a piston stop, set it up on 0. Then I put a timing light, it's like an automotive timing light, on the spark plug, and I spun the engine with my drill press and found where the timing was before I'd done any modifications to it at all. And then I think it was somewhere right around 20 degrees advanced from my memory. Then to make it the opposite way, you have to make it 20 degrees on the opposite side with it running, the other direction. So I took the flywheel off and recut a keyway slot with it indexed so that the pickup for the coil would be 20 degrees to the other side of 0, running the other direction. Then I rotated the head around 180 degrees so that the carburetor would be facing out the front of the car, the exhaust would be going out the back of the car, and it also corrects the port timing for the intake and exhaust ports inside the motor. And then after doing all that, though, I put it in the car and I drove it, and it just didn't drive fast enough. And I didn't really know a whole lot about small weed whacker motors before doing this project, but I discovered that they're governed or designed from the factory to run right around, I would guesstimate, 10,000 RPM, because I had the 8,000 RPM clutch spring in there, and with the engine running wide open, it just started engaging and would get the car moving, but it didn't have a whole lot of speed or power. So decided to ditch that motor and just pick up a new engine. That's what this is. It's a Rovin knockoff of the HPI motor I got off eBay, and this one I put the 30.5cc big bore kit and stroked crank and a copper head gasket, and it runs really well. And you can see how it's still dirty. I haven't cleaned that up yet, but all that goes in to the chassis. The chassis I built all out of 1/2-inch aluminum. It's all solid, it's not tubing. And I started by making these main plates. I CNC cut all these plates out. This would be the upper shock mount here, front bracing. These internal plates are where the Baja radio box bolts on. It holds the battery and the throttle servo. And the back plate here, it's all machined for the rear suspension tabs and for the Baja transmission to mount on. And the rest of it is all solid tubing that I had bent up to a paper template that I had made. Here's a full-scale plot of that. I had drawn it all up on a computer for all the shapes of all the pieces, and then heated up and bent the aluminum to match these templates. And then I took it all those parts and TIG welded it all together. the bottom here, it's got some cross bracing and stuff to stiffen it up. And all worked out pretty good. So in the next video I'm going to show you the suspension that I came up with originally and then how I modified it. Alright, so till video 2, that's it.